Hi everyone, it's Gas Mask, and today I'm going to be breaking down my nervosa2 reprod that I did. First I went and took these vocals, and what I did was I ran the original vocals from the song into an AI called Spleeter. It's by Dylan Tallchief, and it's like, it just cuts the vocals and the like instrumental out of a mix, but I just took the vocals and um I laid them out here.
You want know to be awkward. She talks good.
And I did a little bit of processing along the bottom, just mainly just so I can make it wider and more compressed, because when it has a lot of the artifacts, it's a little bit harder to hear. So I tried to pull out the vocal, and going into the drop, I cut up this with a frequency shifter that bends down with an automation to go into the beat. And then in the vocal, there's really not much else going on. It's just actually just the original vocal. And then I have a duplicated vocal on top that is the same but without any of the processing, and it's as the lead, and it's a chorus on it, and it's being pitched up, complex pro performance, whatever, to make it higher pitched. And then I'm cutting that off in some parts when I want it to like feel smaller. It'll just go to the center one, but that's just because I wanted the vocals to sound really big. Like listening to these two together.
You want know to be awkward. She talks good.
Which is hard to hear, but I mean the AI doesn't really do a great job of like pulling out the actual what it sounds like. Next, I put in an 808. Which is just on the root notes. But actually, it's not necessarily on the root notes. I kind of made a new chord progression under it compared to what it was, because the original chord progression was a little bit different. But I did this, and it sounds cool. And that's that is out of the Saint 6 UK drill drum pack. You can get it on Reddit for free. Then I used the Tech Vision kick, number 5. Oh, wait, the processing on the 808. There's like OTT in this massive scoop because I didn't like these center frequencies, and there's like 9 decibels of saturation. Then on here, 19 dB saturation after an OTT, the huge, and then a wider, and then, yeah, it's kind of out there, but that's the kick. And then these, it's vital. It's just pretty simple synths, and then they all have these processing on them. You can look at that if you want. This one's cool though. The Vital's kind of boring because it's a like super saw, or it's like a saw and a triangle wave on top of each other, I'm pretty sure. And then this is a piano. But I added a little bit of effects, like grain delay and some warming and some saturation and stuff, so it makes it. It gives it this cool impact feeling. That's Addictive Keys from Addictive Audio, I think. So that's those two together. And the next synth is this lead synth that's at the end. Played that like one time through on my keyboard. And then there's also this, which I duplicated the 808 pattern there. So there's a little bit more of the high end for that 808 sound. These kick and 808 patterns through here have like rolls, where I just chopped it up to make it kind of hit. There's no side chain. The side chain is basically being done just by pushing the kick hard into the saturator. Other drums. This snare is a layer of 4 snares. This snare that I made in Operator. This snare, which is from a cymatics pack. This snare, which is also from a cymatics pack. And then this snare I don't know where I got that one from. It might be my own. I don't know. Or maybe that's something out of Tech Vision. I'm not sure. I like layering snare sounds a lot because it makes a really dense texture. So then after that, there's the hi-hat, which is just kind of normal hi-hats, except I put a bubbles on it, which is a grain delay preset, which kind of gives it that weird noise. And then there's some glitches, which this is a glitch sample that's being vocoded by the hi-hat. So they're kind of cool. And then there's a crash. I put that crash in every one of my songs. The crash blueprint. It's default in Ableton. This is pretty cool. It's just a fill. So it's just a snare fill with drum bus and filter delay on it. And then there's a Paul Harvey sample where it goes like, now listening to a message from God.
From God.
Right before the drop. And it has a duplicated with a chorus, and it's pitched down the formant thing into the drop. There's a ride that sits in the background, kind of like a crash in metal that's being hit, just to drive it a little further when you have that high end pushing it. And other than that, it's just this tag.
Gas mask.
And there's a fill right here, which is my favorite part of the whole song, because it's so clean. These are recordings of a real drum set I grabbed off of Reddit, and they have a drum bus with this transient on it that really pulls down the like crunchiness of them. They're already tight samples, but it makes it. They're all panned different directions, so it gives stereo imaging of like a drum set. And then there's OTT on the end of them to give them extra punch. And that's basically the whole beat broken down. And then I also utilized a lot of the artifacts that were left over from the AI processing the vocal track, like the wow noises sometimes. I have a utility on here with a bass mono and some width so that it keeps the bass centric, and then everything else around it expands a little so it's bigger in your headphones. And then I have a saturator with a soft clipper as really the only thing that's doing any limiting or anything like that, and it just has a little bit of the drive pulled down, so it gives it the crunch that I wanted.
Gas mask.
You know me awkward. She's so good and awkward. You need to talk